Hey everyone, and welcome back to Divine Beauty Tarot. So I have a fun new video for you guys today, and this one is very close to my heart in the sense that this is going to be all about what your synchronicities are trying to tell you. If you are noticing like the same numbers constantly, or if you've been seeing certain things that just tend to stand out like over and over again to you. For some people, it could be seeing a bird or seeing butterflies or finding, like a feather, things like that. If you're finding that you kind of fall in that category and you're wondering, okay, what is the message? What is it that my angels or my, loved ones are trying to tell me? Then this is going to be the video for you. Okay. Now I will give a little bit of a backstory here. For myself particular, this past, I would say 2 weeks, it's been almost daily where I see the same numbers over and over, whether it's 1111, 111, 222, 333, like it doesn't matter, no matter what time of the day it is. If I just happen to go look at the clock, or just without even thinking, I just happen to look in the direction of a clock or my phone, it always ends up being those numbers. And I've been trying to keep track of it just for my own, I guess, clarification, trying to see like what exactly it is that spirit or my loved ones are trying to tell me. And it honestly inspired this video. And I thought, you know what, how many other people out there are going through the same exact thing and wanting to know what are these synchronicities actually meaning? What is the message that's trying to be conveyed to me at this time? So this is a timeless reading. So I really hope that whenever you happen to stumble upon this, that if you are in the same boat that I am and you just want to get some clarity, that this offers that clarity for you. Okay. So we have 4 piles here in which you can select from. We have pile number 1 with this moss agate crystal. I just got this the other day and it is so stunning. I just love the green in this. We have pile number 2 with an amethyst crystal. This is also new. It came with my moss agate. We also have pile number 3, and this is a pink aragonite. I believe that's how you say it. It's so pretty. And we have pile number 4 with a rose quartz. Okay, so if you guys need to, please go ahead and pause the video to meditate on which pile you are feeling most drawn to. As always, I will have the timestamps listed below in the description box. So once you have made your selection, you can just go ahead and fast forward to your reading. Again, we have pile 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I will see you guys at your pile selection. Hi, group 1. So if you selected the moss agate crystal, then this is your reading. So I've gone ahead and laid out your tarot cards. We're going to start here first, and then we're going to go ahead and go through the rest of your oracle messages. Okay. So if you were wondering what your synchronicities are trying to tell you, we're just going to dive right in and see what comes through here. So you guys have the 3 of Cups, we have the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, and we have the 6 of Pentacles upright. So group 1, there definitely seems to be a lot of prosperity and abundance coming your way. And even though it might not feel like it right at the moment, I think this is what your message is really trying to tell you, that be patient, good things are coming. And especially if you have been feeling like things have been a little rocky lately, or maybe like financially money has been a little tight. If you have been working hard, or you've been trying to kind of get above, going maybe paycheck to paycheck or whatever it may be, then what your messages are trying to tell you is that things are going to be okay. You're going to be in a place where you're not going to have to be so worried or feel like you're without. Okay. Now the 3 of Cups is a beautiful card because this deals with celebration. This deals with, coming together, like with your close circle of friends, confiding in them, even going to them for support, even if it's just emotional support, just kind of surrounding yourself with good people, kind of bringing up those, low vibrations, bringing it back up. So that way you're not having to stress yourself out over the little things, okay? Because here with the Ten of Pentacles, this is where I feel like a lot of you might be feeling very anxious or feeling as if those things aren't where you would hope that they would be. When the Ten of Pentacles is in the upright position, that's usually almost like that sense of fulfillment, like all the hard work is or has been reached, that you're finally starting to see the money come in the way that you have been working towards. And things seems to be pretty good. When it's in the reversal, this tends to mean that there's a little bit of a delay. Doesn't mean that it's not going to get there. It just could mean that there is something either kind of standing in the way of that, or that it just hasn't been fully reached yet. Whatever the circumstances may be, whether it was due to let's just say for instance, for many of us right now, a lot of it has to do with the pandemic and not having had a job for a while, or not having been able to work. A lot of people have lost their jobs, due to this. So it's kind of, now we're getting to the point where we're slowly starting to reopen. People are, finding work again. People are able to start, getting a hold or ahead of their finances. So this would kind of explain why there is like that halt there, as I was mentioning. But again, it doesn't mean that this is where you're going to stay. So if you've been feeling kind of anxious, or just kind of like, I don't know, if I'm going to, get over this or rise above this, what your message is trying to tell you is that you are, like, good things are coming. Now, the Six of Pentacles is a really great card because this is all about giving and receiving. So this tends to deal with abundance. This tends to deal with prosperity, or feeling like you have enough in ways that you are able to share with others, or that, vice versa. If people are able to help you out, then in turn, once you kind of get back on your feet, you're able to repay them. So again, like, that's that whole give and take aspect. But overall, I feel like your main message here is the fact that there is this sense of abundance here that is coming into play for you guys. So let's take a look here at the rest of your oracle cards, and we'll see if we can get a little bit more clarification. So your first card that you have is Action, followed by New Beginnings. Okay, so this is really great to see. So we definitely have some action being taken here as far as you working towards this new beginning. So if you have had to get yourself out of financial hardships, whether it's by finding a new job or a new start, and this is why it's kind of taken maybe a little bit for you to get to this point. Again, this is just reminding you, like, this is just all start of like the beginning process. You have to, put in a little bit of effort as far as like finding a new job or finding something that's going to be more beneficial for you in order to see the benefits in the long run. Okay. So that's what's really exciting here, is we've got a lot of, like I said, new beginning, new opportunities here. All right. So for your next oracle card, we have messages from your angels, and this is Merlina. You are confused and indecisive because you do not have enough information. Do research or seek expert advice before making a decision. Oh, interesting. Okay, so for some of you, this could definitely be indicating here that if you've been feeling stuck, or you've been feeling like you're not quite sure how you're going to get out of this situation because you don't really quite see an end in sight, this could just be causing you or reminding you that you might feel this sense of confusion, but it doesn't mean that you're going to stay in this headspace. If anything, you're going to have to, do a little bit more research, figure out how you can maybe find a new job, whether talking with your friends or seeing if you know someone who knows of a place that's hiring, something like that. So that way you can kind of get into a place where you feel a little bit more secure, financially, by just trying to find something else. For others, it might just be, you getting a little bit more clarification about, the job itself, or about what it is that you're working towards. you know, you obviously don't want to just dive right into the first thing that sounds good. You want to be able to have a little bit more information so that way you know if this is going to be beneficial for you in the long run. So if you've been very hesitant, or, you know, as I mentioned earlier, just kind of confused on whether or not this is going to be the right fit, or, you know, how this is going to work out, again, this just might be a good time for you to just give yourself a little bit more information. Okay. Now for your next oracle cards, we have Message in a Bottle and To the Sea. Okay. So very fitting that we have Message in a Bottle, because I feel like a lot of this deals with our synchronicities. You know, this is what we've been talking about. Messages are trying to come to you, you know, and it's for a reason. And so the fact that you have this, I think, is just only confirmation that there is a message being or a message that is trying to get to you. Okay. Now, since we are trying to get as much information about what your synchronicities are trying to tell you, I do want to read from the booklet for these cards in particular. So you guys have Message in a Bottle, which the essential meanings are communication, a sign, pointing the way to your highest good. Now, I do want to go to Prosperity Message, because I feel like this is very fitting to what it is that you are gaining. So this says you are on target with your purpose and your passion. You are coming into an alignment with your destiny, and Spirit wants you to know that you're on the right track. Expect a call, a new opportunity, or a message from an old friend or business contact that will lead you closer to your dreams and greatest desires. Spirit has been listening to you. Okay, so again, this is just really only confirmation that if you've been putting it out there into the universe, or wondering like how you're going to rise above or how you're going to succeed in this endeavor, this is just confirmation that Spirit hears you, that they're letting you know, hey, the reason why you're seeing this over and over is because we hear you, and we're telling you that you are on the right path. Okay, so this is really exciting. So you guys are getting that confirmation here. Okay, so for To the Sea, this is all about being in flow, returning to source, recognizing how pieces fit together, a natural pattern of events. Okay, so we're going to look at the Prosperity Message here. So this says, everything seems to work out when you stop scrambling and allow the sea of opportunities to wash over you and wake you up to your most prosperous potential. To get into that flow, you need to address your beliefs about abundance and money. The true meaning of your personal currency lies in your skills, your talents and abilities, and most important, your core beliefs. Everything flows from your inner world and is reflected in the outer one. When grateful to serve, you align your prosperity consciousness with the higher consciousness. You can expect miracles. Everything you need will come to you easily. Okay, so that's a really beautiful message. So you guys basically have here just telling you, like, just, you know, trust in the process, kind of go with the flow here, that, you know, no need to worry. If anything, there is a lot of opportunity being presented to you. You're on the right path. Okay. Now, the last few oracle messages that I have for you guys, these are from your Angel Answer Oracle. So I'm hoping that these will give you a little bit more straightforward answers to what the synchronicities message is trying to tell you. So the first one that we have is Take Action. So that's your second action card here. So this is all about just moving forward and taking action. We have Look for a Sign. Okay. Yeah, you guys definitely have, this is all about our synchronicity. So this is just reminding you again, look for a sign if you still have doubt that you're on the right path. Okay. Next we have is Forgiveness. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so some of this might require a little bit of forgiveness on your part, whether it is to somebody who might have wronged you, or just forgiveness in general for the situation that you find yourself in. Okay, being able to forgive in order to move on and to move past, that might be required here. And then the last one that we have is Big Happy Changes. Okay, so new beginnings, big happy changes. You guys definitely have something really great coming towards you. You just have to trust in the signs and the synchronicities. And they're trying to tell you, hey, Everything's going to be okay. You're on the right path. So group 1, that was your reading. Definitely let me know in the comment section down below if this resonated with you. I would love to hear from you guys. And I would love to hear what synchronicities you've been seeing. Have you been seeing numbers? Have you been seeing, you know, a bird, or have you been seeing butterflies? Whatever it may be, definitely let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and consider giving it a thumbs up, as it truly helps out the channel. And I want to thank you so much for watching, and we're going to move on to group number 2. Hi, group 2. So if you selected the amethyst crystal, then this is your reading. So I have gone ahead and laid out your tarot cards, and we are going to go ahead and go through your oracle cards soon after. So if you are wanting to know what your synchronicities are trying to tell you, then we're just going to dive right in. Excuse me. I have been like messing up on my words lately, so please forgive me. I believe we are in Mercury retrograde right now, so this could be why. So sorry. All right. So you guys have the 3 of Wands upright. We have the 5 of Cups. And we have the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. So one of the main things that's really standing out here as far as what your synchronicities are trying to tell you is I feel like they're trying to tell you not to be so hard on yourself right now. I see a sense of you being a visionary, somebody who's like knows, who typically tends to know what they want and they go for it. Like they have these ideas and, you know, they have, you know, goals set for themselves, but it's almost like if you don't reach it to the point that you want to, or if an obstacle comes in your way, you tend to focus more primarily on that rather than the bigger picture. And the reason why I say that is because the 5 of Cups and the 8 of Pentacles in reverse really kind of paint out this picture for me a little bit more clearer. So the 5 of Cups typically deals with being a little bit more upset as to why this situation didn't necessarily work out. Now, a lot of times what the pictures tend to depict in the 5 of Cups is that you'll see somebody mourning or being sad over the fact that 3 of their cups have spilt. However, completely ignoring the fact that they have 2 that are still remaining. Okay. I think every time I see this, I always think there's no use in crying over spilt milk. It's that exact mindset or saying that kind of goes in line with this, that yes, of course it can be devastating that, you know, you had 5 at one time and now you only have 2 left. But the positive is that you still have 2. Okay, so instead of looking at how come, or focusing on how come this didn't work out, you know, and trying to overanalyze, you know, this obstacle, or trying to overanalyze, you know, this issue, instead your focus should be on, okay, now where do I go from here? You know, I still have an opportunity, or I still have opportunities, and I can make it work. I can, you know, figure out a way around this situation. Okay. Now, the 8 of Pentacles here in reverse does tend to be indicating that somebody who tends to focus more on why they're not, I don't want to say perfect, but it's almost like you're your own worst critic. It's like, you know, you're good at something, but instead of being content with what you're capable of, it's like you get really upset with yourself for not being as good as maybe someone else, or as good as you think you could be. So you tend to be a little bit harsher on yourself, again, rather than just being content with what you are capable of, or what you have shown for yourself before to others or whatnot. So whether this has to do with like a specific skill, because we are dealing with the 8 of Pentacles, and that does tend to be like the craftsman card, somebody who's a very skilled worker, or someone who has a particular skill that they're very good at. This could be indicating here that, you know, whatever your skill set is, you might be a little bit too harsh on yourself and not giving yourself enough credit, you know, in order to move past this point. For many of you, you might feel very stuck. You might feel like this, you know, 5 of Cups here, like you can't seem to figure out a way around the situation. The only way that you think you'll be able to get out is if you get better, or if you just become better, I guess, at this particular skill, instead of trying to find a way to work with what you have or what you already know. Okay. Now, I feel like your main message here from, your synchronicities, or the fact that you're seeing these things over and over, is because I think they're trying to tell you not to be so harsh on yourself, and to not, again, focus on the little things. Believe that this might have happened for a reason. The reason why this opportunity didn't happen right away or in the way that you were expecting it might be for a reason, because you have other opportunities. That could be why. So there are other options that maybe you didn't necessarily see at first, and they might be a better option for you in the long run. So we're going to take a look here at your oracle cards. Maybe we can get a little bit more clarification on them. But that's really what I'm picking up here on that. Okay. So the first one that we have is solitude. Okay. And we have focus. Okay. So this makes sense here. All right. As far as your solitude goes, for many of you, yeah, you might feel a little isolated. And this might be the time where you do need to kind of give yourself a little bit of a mental break, and, maybe just kind of find a way to relax your mind a little bit, so that way you aren't overanalyzing or overthinking things. Okay. Instead, I think here, the fact that you have the focus card is kind of trying to remind you on focusing on the bigger picture. As I mentioned earlier, instead of focusing on these 3 that have spelt, focus on the 2 that you still have. Focus on what you actually already accomplished, or what you have already accomplished. Don't be so hard on yourself that you haven't done this or you haven't done that. You have time. You definitely have time to get there. It's just, you are trying to work towards a specific goal. And instead of trying to put yourself in this, I just keep thinking like a box. Like, instead of putting yourself in this box, widen it a little bit, or instead open the lid, so that way you can see the other opportunities that are presented to you. So that way things will maybe make a little bit more sense for you in the long run. Okay. Now, for your next oracle message, we have messages from your angels, and this is Mystique. Keep charging ahead and don't take no for an answer. Expect miraculous solutions to appear. Okay, so yeah, see, there's no need for you to worry or to, kind of limit yourself. Instead, keep pushing forward. Keep focusing on what you do still have here. Okay, next one we have is Archangel Gabriel. You have an important life purpose involving communication and the arts. Please don't allow insecurities to hold you back. I will help you. Look at that. Don't allow insecurities to hold you back. What did I just say, guys? So with that 8 of Pentacles there, okay, if you are somebody who has a particular skill set, if this has to deal with something to do that's more artistic or creative, don't be so hard on yourself, okay? You are capable. You have a gift, okay? So instead of you standing in your own way, allow yourself to be less critical of yourself, and instead focus on what you know you're good at, and use that to kind of propel you forward, okay? Now for your next oracle cards, we have TikTok, and we have Observer. Okay, so I am going to read the messages from the Wisdom of the Oracle booklet. I did this with the other group just so that way we can get as much clarification and information for you guys regarding these particular messages. So we're going to start with TikTok. So this means timelessness, divine timing, and immeasurable time. Okay. All right. So I'm going to move this to your prosperity message. So your prosperity is co-created by your endeavors as they occur in human-made time and the internal efforts of the most important manifestation partner, spirit, in a divine, measureless time. So keep doing what you're doing. Stay positive and make a commitment to remain in high vibration thoughts and feelings. If you heed the message of this card, it will seem as if you will align with your highest calling and your highest good in no time at all, like magic. So what's all the fuss about not having enough time? The prosperous life that is yours will never pass you by. Perfect. So just like I mentioned earlier, like this is really, I think, the main message about you kind of standing in your own way here, and not allowing that to be the case. Okay. Things are happening the way that they are supposed to. All you have to focus on is what you're good at and what it is that you're currently doing. Okay. And you will get there. All right. So the last one that you have is observer. So this is perspective, objectivity, neutral observation from a distance. So we're going to look at your prosperity message here. And this says, it is an advantageous time for you to get some distance from what you're doing and see your work and your projects from a different perspective. The trick is to connect to the essence of your goals and aspirations while letting the form and timing be dictated by spirit. You may be too personally attached to an outcome and unable to see the miracle because it's not turning out exactly as you planned, you guys. Okay, this is giving me the chills. Trust spirit. The perfect version of your abundance is right in front of you. Remain neutral and curious and watch the miracle unfold. Oh my God. Okay, so like, whew, that was a lot. That is literally everything that we've talked about so far. So trust in divine timing. Trust that this is working the way that it's supposed to. And this is what your message is trying to tell you. Okay. Now your last oracle messages that we have, these are your angel answers. So these are hopefully going to give you some answers, a little bit more straightforward to what it is that your synchronicities are trying to tell you here. So the first one that we have is opportunity. Okay. So new opportunities. Think about the other opportunities that you still have. It might not be the ones that you initially thought. This is something different. We have no need to worry. Okay. Again, no need to worry. You are on the right path here. Okay. And perfect timing. Perfect timing. Okay. That you guys have so many synchronicities here. All of this is really flowing together and trying to tell you that you are on the right path. Everything that you were doing is all in divine timing. And just because something didn't necessarily work out the way that you had initially hoped it would, doesn't mean that there isn't something better for you here in the long run. So group 2, that was your reading. Definitely let me know in the comment section down below if this resonated with you. I would love to hear. Also, please feel free to share what synchronicities have you been seeing? Have you been seeing numbers? Have you been seeing butterflies, or just anything at all? Please feel free to share down below. I would love to hear everybody's synchronicity stories. And if you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and consider giving it a thumbs up. It truly helps. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and we're going to move on to group number 3. Hi, group 3. So if you selected the pink aragonite crystal, then this is your reading. So I have gone ahead and laid out your tarot cards, and then we're going to go through your oracle cards soon after. So what is it that your synchronicities are trying to tell you here? Well, I can definitely say right off the bat, one of the things that's really jumping out here is paying attention to your dreams. If you... And I feel like this kind of relates to me a little bit because I'll be honest, my dreams lately have been super like vivid. It's almost to the point where sometimes I don't know if I'm awake or not. It's really weird. I've never really had that before, at least not that I can remember. And in this particular spread here, the fact that we have the moon here in the Hermit card really kind of tell me that there is something more intuitive that is trying to come out or trying to make itself known here. And a lot of the meaning or the messages that your synchronicities are trying to tell you could have to do with what your dreams are trying to tell you. So if you don't have a dream journal, I would recommend using one, keeping track of your dreams, especially if you're noticing that you are having very similar vivid dreams like I am. As I mentioned in the beginning, for me in particular, the whole reason why I did this video was because of the synchronicities in numbers that I've been seeing. So if that is the same thing for you guys, then that might be something I would recommend doing. But here in particular, for you guys, since you selected this pile, for the Empress in reverse, this is really telling me that you might be feeling like you're spreading yourself a little too thin. A lot of self-care seems to be at the forefront here. A lot of you doing a lot of self-reflection, diving into maybe some shadow work as well here with the Moon card. And then we've got the Hermit card as well. So this is really you taking the time to dive in to you, okay? Your subconscious, diving into your intuition, your psychic abilities, okay? I get the strong sense that you guys might very well be sensitive as well. If you have certain abilities, whether some of you are empaths or if some of you are healers as well, and you've never really dived into that or tapped into it, this might be what your what spirit or your angels and your ancestors are trying to tell you, or like by the synchronicities that they're leaving for you, in that this might be the time where you're stepping in and becoming more spiritually aware, okay? And it's very interesting that we have this because, like I said, this is really kind of like you seeking out your truth, seeking out what makes sense to you, kind of like understanding your why, so to speak. Okay, so this is a lot of very oh gosh, I just had the word. I'm so sorry, I like completely lost it. But the understanding who, as I mentioned, who you truly are. So it's a lot of self-discovery. Thank you. I was like, I knew if I'd eventually keep saying it, I'd get there. But this is very much like self-discovery for you guys. So this could be why your synchronicities, you're seeing them like pop up more and more. It's because this is really wanting you to take a dive deep into your subconscious, into your intuition, and just into yourself, into knowing like who you truly are and how you can feel more aligned, okay? This is really kind of getting you back into balance, but I feel like on a deeper level, okay? On a very spiritual level here. So as I mentioned with the Hermit card, this is not only you kind of like secluding yourself, but this is, as I mentioned, this is more like you understanding your truth as well. So whether this means taking some time to meditate, keeping that dream journal handy, as I mentioned, kind of like going into your dreams. For some of you, this might be a time where you tap into getting into tarot or crystals, you know, things like that, that you are going to feel more connected with, or that might really heighten your spirituality or your spiritual awareness, then this is going to be the time to do that. Okay. Now let's take a look here for your oracle cards. I definitely feel like we're going to get a little bit more clarification with your synchronicities. So okay, so the first card that we have is truth. So as I mentioned with the Hermit cards, this is really the time where this is wanting you to step into your truth and understand, what does that mean to you? What does your truth actually mean to you? You know, does this mean like you finding out a little bit more about who you are or what it is that you truly believe? You know, this is kind of going to be that time for that self-reflection. Okay. The next one that we have is pleasure. Okay. So what I actually love about this is that obviously, besides the whole physical pleasure aspect of it, I feel like this is going to be something that makes you feel good. That's what pleasure is. It's what makes you feel good, both inside and out. So again, you tapping into your truth, or you tapping into your subconscious, into who you are, doing that shadow work. This is what's going to kind of get you back into that state of balance as to what you feel like makes you feel better as a person. Okay, so you going into this is really what's going to give you that pleasure. I think it could give you that satisfaction of feeling that contentment. Okay, now your next oracle card that we have, this is from your messages from your angels. We have Isaiah, and this says, it's a good time to give birth to new ideas and situations in your life. I am watching over you, guiding you, and protecting you during these changes. Okay, so this is very powerful because this is, I feel like, yeah, a new an opportunity for you to step into a new you. Okay. As I mentioned, this is going to be a lot of self-discovery, a lot of you getting more in touch with who you are as an individual, what it is that you believe. So yeah, this might give you some new ideas or new opportunities that you're going to want to dive into. And it might feel, for some scary because it's going into like this unknown, but knowing that you are being protected and going through this new avenue is comforting to know. The next one that we have is Astara, and it says, you deserve the best. Reach for the stars with your dreams and desires and don't compromise. Okay, so I love this. So I feel like with getting you in touch with your higher self, I feel like this is really what's going to propel you to go after your dreams, your desires. This is going to give you that motivation, and I feel like even confidence that maybe you were always kind of hesitant to give into for whatever reason, maybe not fully believing yourself, or there was some sort of limiting beliefs that you might have set upon yourself, that have prevented you from going after things that you wish you could have, maybe earlier on. So this is a really exciting time, I feel like, overall for you guys, because this is going to get you to where you want to go. Now, okay, so the next oracle cards that we have, these are your wisdom of the oracle. Now, you guys had the most that came out. I believe you have 5. Yeah. Everybody else had, I think, like 2. You guys had the most. Like, they came out. And I at first wasn't going to take them, but I thought, you know what? No, these came out for a reason, so I'm going to take them. So we're going to see all the messages that you have here. So the first one that we have is Unfinished Symphony. Okay, so we've got some imbalance here that kind of makes me think of the Empress in reverse there. We have Not For You. We have Between Worlds. Interesting. Makes me think of the moon. Clean It Up. And Why. Oh, very fitting. Like I mentioned earlier, trying to understand your why. Okay. All right, here. So what I did with the other groups is I actually read from the booklet for the meaning. So because you guys have so many, I'm definitely going to pick and choose here. So the ones I do know, these are the ones that I've been more familiar with. So I'm going to go off of those first, and then I'll read you a little bit more from the booklet here in a minute. So let's start with the why. So as I mentioned earlier, with the Hermit card, I feel like this is really going to be, as I mentioned, a time where you're stepping into who you are. So that self-discovery, understanding why things are the way that they are. Okay. And this can also be too, you uncovering your truth and understanding your why. Like, what is your purpose here? What is your purpose to do? Like, what are you feeling called to do? Are you feeling called to help others? Are you feeling called to step into spirituality? Why is that? Think about those things. And I feel like that's one of the main reasons why you're starting to see these synchronicities, or if you're starting to have these very vivid dreams, they're all trying to tell you something here in the sense of like you stepping into this higher sense of self. Okay. Now, as I mentioned with the Y card, this is really all discovering all those answers, these questions that you have about yourself, or these questions that you have in general. This is you seeking those answers and seeking the truth to that. Okay. Now, the Clean It Up card. This is interesting because this deals with kind of dealing with any of the negativity or limiting beliefs that we've had set upon ourselves previously. This is kind of like getting rid of that energy. Okay. So hence you have the Clean It Up. So if you are dealing with some shadow work here that we have with the Moon card, again, this is just kind of reminding you that upon you doing this self-discovery, there's going to be certain parts that you are going to have to tackle that are going to feel very heavy. And you probably have carried them with you for years without even realizing. And a lot of that has to do with our limiting beliefs, or what we put upon ourselves and tell ourselves that, no, we can't do this, we can't do that. Okay, so getting rid of that mindset, or getting rid of that negativity that has kind of weighed you down and prevented you from going where you want to go, your process. Okay. Now, I do want to go into your other cards here. So we're going to start with Between Worlds. So I have an idea as to what that seems, but we're going to give you a little bit more clarification here. So we have essential meaning is transitions, not being quite out of one situation and fully engaged in another, temporary blindness, no man's land. Okay, so I've been reading the prosperity message in all of these, and that's what we're going to read for you guys. In your work, sometimes you try things that have worked for others, hoping that you too will be successful. When this symbol appears, it reminds you that sometimes the path to your prosperity is a gamble. Win or lose, you can learn much from what comes of your wager. It's a good time to bet on your skills and talents in new and different arenas. Remain curious, and with the right combination of timing and luck, you will stumble upon something golden that will be unlike anything you've known before. Okay, love that. So what I really like about this is that this is really kind of emphasizing that, you know, even though you might have been somebody who has been more of, I tend to put others' needs before my own, very similar here with the Empress card in reverse. Oftentimes you think that what you do for others, others might do for you. And then sometimes you kind of get a little bit disappointed that, you know, people might not put in as much effort as you would, you know, to them. And so I feel like that's where we've got that in between worlds card here, because it's kind of like trying to understand, again, the differences between what other people would do versus what you would do. And this is why there is that sense of imbalance and why you need to kind of get back on track with who you are. So this is why I think we've got that self-discovery here. All right, so the next one that you have is Unfinished Symphony. So this says unfinished business, an incomplete lesson, lack of closure, the need to make amends. So your prosperity message is make sure you complete projects now before starting new ones. Perhaps you've created something special that will increase your sense of abundance and bring you opportunities for wealth. However, if you don't see it through, it won't add up to anything but more clutter. Now's the time to put your nose to the grindstone and complete the tasks that have accumulated. Pay your bills, sign the documents, do your filing, hand an assignment, complete a work of art, tie up loose ends so you can move forward with certainty. Or surety, excuse me. Knowing you're on the prosperous path and feeling refreshed and excited about the future. Okay. So again, this is just kind of like tying up those loose ends, really tackling those things that have kind of maybe held you down before in the past and letting them go, or, you know, finding a way to complete it so that way it no longer holds you back. And then the last one that you have is not for you. So this is a clear knowing that something is being denied you. So rejection is God's protection. Okay, so let's look at your prosperity message here. You can strategize and project and systematize and invest all of your time and energy, but sometimes your best laid plans seem to go away in spite of it all. Keep in mind that no effort is wasted, fail fast, and learn from defeat. Then keep going. You will eventually succeed, although perhaps not at this game. Not at this time, know when to fold your cards. Interesting. So what I like about this is that this kind of tells me a little bit more that just because, you know, you're having to really dive deep into who you are right now, and trying to understand maybe like why you're feeling this sense of out of balance, why something hasn't necessarily worked out the way, as we mentioned, like for other people, you might be kind of comparing yourselves to others as to like, well, we're going through the same thing, but my outcome didn't end up the way that theirs did. And that could be because their outcome is not your outcome. Okay. So your guys' message is truly trying to tell you to dive deep, really kind of give yourself some time to understand who you are and kind of get yourself back into that balance. And a lot of this is going to, I think, really pay off for you in the long run. So if you have been having vivid dreams, or if you've been seeing these synchronicities, I would write it down, really pay attention to those signs. And I think that'll kind of point you a little bit more on the path that you already are on, but it's going to give you a little bit more validation that this is your path, that you are doing what you are supposed to because this is your journey. Okay. So group 3, that was your reading. Definitely let me know in the comment section down below if this resonated with you. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot. Just kidding. You guys have a couple more. I had them off to the side and I was looking, I'm like, wait, I'm missing something. So I'm so sorry. So you guys had 2 angel answer oracle cards. So I do want to show you what the answers were, just in case this will give us a little bit more clarification. So I do apologize. So the first one that we have is a no. Okay, interesting. So this makes me think of the not for you card. So again, this isn't a definitive no, because if it was, there would have been the exclamation mark here. Now, from what I know about this is that this usually means no, either this is not the right time, or no, this isn't for you, but something else is. Okay, so again, I just think like the not for you card, like this is just not your journey, it's somebody else's. Okay, you're meant to go on your own and your outcome will be different. And it most likely more prosperous. Okay. Now the next one that we have is if you believe. Okay. So this is very strong because I feel like this is going to be all about you believing in yourself, you believing in what you feel like is going to be your greatest outcome. Okay. Like what we've been talking about this whole time, this is you guys uncovering your truth, uncovering, you know, what is it that makes you happy? What is it that's going to give you that contentment? You feel like, you know, you've reached where you've been meant to, you know, to get to, you know, whatever it may be. So there definitely is, you know, some good possibilities here for you guys, which is really exciting. So now that is the end of your reading. So I do apologize again, group 3, but definitely let me know in the comment section down below if this resonated and what your synchronicities are. I would love to hear from you guys what it is that you've been seeing, what it is that has just been constantly popping up, or maybe within your dreams. You know, if you feel comfortable enough to share, please do so. I would love to kind of get a conversation going with everybody just to kind of see what, you know, everyone's kind of going through right now. So if you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and consider giving it a thumbs up, as it truly helps out the channel. I want to thank you guys so much for watching and for being patient with me. And we are going to move on to our final group. Hi, group 4. So if you selected the rose quartz crystal, then this is your reading. So I have gone ahead and laid out your tarot cards, and then we're going to go ahead and go through your oracle cards shortly after. So for your tarot cards here, we have the 7 of Swords, we have the 6 of Swords in reverse, we have the 6 of Wands upright, and then we have the Wheel of Fortune. So as far as what your synchronicities are trying to tell you here, I definitely am getting the strong sense that there is a little bit of fear of change. Or for some of you, this might be like a real hesitation. It's like, you know, something is coming up, or that there is like some type of event coming where it is going to cause a radical change. Now, depending on how you go about this or how you feel about it, it could be either good or bad. But I feel like overall, this is an actual good change, and this could be a necessary change. But I get the sense of why this might be a little scary for some, especially if you don't tend to really do well with change in general. Okay. Now the 7 of Swords is interesting because this is all about feeling very secure, or not secure, excuse me, feeling like there's a sense of secrecy or needing to kind of keep to yourself even during this time. And instead of kind of like being open or confiding in others, you know, you tend to kind of like keep to yourself. Now, it does have multiple meanings because, again, this can be that somebody is not being as upfront with you as they should, hence the secrecy. This tends to be like considered some, like known as like the secrecy card, like someone's keeping something from you. But because we're dealing with what it is that your synchronicities are trying to tell you, I feel like this is more so kind of talking about you directly. You know, and again, this is a general reading, so just, you know, take what you will. But one of the main things that's standing out here with the Seven of Swords is that it just feels like you're wanting to kind of, you know, keep to yourself and not really be as open maybe with your feelings, or be open to those around you out of this fear of what this change could bring about. And if you are voicing, you know, your hesitation or your resistance to this change, I feel like you might be fearful of what the outcome will be. Okay. Now, I do have to say here, though, that we do have a positive outcome. The Six of Wands is really I think this is a beautiful card to have, because this emphasizes victory. You know, this really talks about, you know, success in its own, you know, just kind of like overcoming the challenges. Okay. And then having the Wheel of Fortune there next to it, I feel like is only a real positive indication that this change is for the better, that this is a positive change. It's, you know, all about divine timing, you know, and this might be for some of you a transition of a sorts, you know, having to go through this next phase in your life, but knowing that it's going to have a positive outcome, I hope will give you a little bit more reassurance here. Okay. Which is really exciting, because the Wheel of Fortune, I know for a lot of people, depending on how it falls in their spread, it can, you know, kind of go either way. Hence, that's why it's a Wheel of Fortune. You never know what's going to come. But the fact that you have the Six of Wands next to it is only confirmation that this is a very positive and prosperous outcome. Okay. Now let's take a look here at your oracle cards so we can get a little bit more clarification in regards to your synchronicities. So the first one that we have is taking risks. We have courage. And we have transformation. Beautiful. Okay. So yeah, there's definitely a strong sense here of, you know, taking a risk. Okay. And this is, I feel like, the risk of you getting outside of your comfort zone or outside of your fear here with the Six of Swords in reverse. Okay. So kind of overcoming that fear is what's going to get you to this positive outcome. Okay. Now, this is also reminding you to have a bit of courage as well, because like I mentioned, this can feel very fearful for some, especially going into the unknown, going into, you know, this possibility of, you know, I would think maybe like rejection or whatever it may be. But for many of you, you know, this is really kind of calling upon you. This reason why you're seeing these synchronicities is because it's trying to tell you you're on the right path. You know, this change is inevitable, and there's a reason for it, but it's a good reason. Okay. And you kind of just have to trust in the process. And I love the fact that we have the transformation card here as well, because this is all about, you know, positive change, you know, going from an ending of one to start of something new. So I really like the fact that you have this here with your Wheel of Fortune as well. So let's take a look at the other oracle cards that we have. So for your messages from your angels, we have Archangel Raphael, and he says, I am helping you heal physical challenges in yourself and others. You are a healer like me. Beautiful. I love that. Okay, so any physical challenges that are kind of coming in your way, and I feel like this is part of that transformation. Okay, so regardless of how this transformation is coming, whether this is a physical you know, challenge or not, again, this is just reminding you that this is going to be a time where you trust in the process. Okay, and that you are capable of overcoming, you know, this transition or this new phase. You know, there's no need to fear it. Okay. If anything, just kind of trusting in the process here. Okay. Now, the next one that we have is Desiree. And this says, no, conditions aren't favorable right now. Wait or look into other options and ask the angels to help guide and comfort you. Okay, so this is very interesting, because I feel like this would make sense, especially to those of you who are very hesitant. So I know this might seem a little conflicting, especially just like what we were saying, But I feel like if you really take a look at the bigger picture here, it's saying conditions aren't favorable right now. So it tells you to wait or look into other options. Okay. So if you are 100% like, there's no way I can go through with this, you have like this gut feeling, trust your gut feeling. I feel like you guys will know when it's the right time to move forward. Inevitably, there is a change coming, but it doesn't mean you have to go right at it 100% right away. I feel like this is telling you that you can kind of choose when you are ready to take the next step. Okay, so I do want to make that pretty clear, especially for those of you who might feel like, see, that's just confirmation I shouldn't have to do anything. I don't want that to necessarily be the main message, because I do see a favorable outcome here. And even though right this second it might not be the best time, knowing that eventually it will be. And I think you guys will ultimately know when that will be. Okay. Now, let's move on to your next oracle card. So the first one that we have is mending. And then we have imagine. Okay. So what I did for the other groups is I actually read from the Wisdom of the Oracle booklet. I wanted to give you guys as much information as possible with these cards in particular. So we're going to start with mending. So the essential meaning here is forgiveness, making amends, and healing after arguments. Okay, so I looked at the prosperity message for these. So this one says, everyone makes mistakes, especially when you want something very badly. You may come to realize that in chasing after a pretty shiny thing, you lost sight of a long-term sustainable prosperity. Sometimes you make choices that look good at first, but ultimately lead to loss or failure. It's time to forgive yourself and others. Don't blame anyone else. You get to start again, wiser and more mature. The journey to true abundance can be bumpy. Make amends to anyone you may have hurt along the way, especially yourself. Forgive those who may have taken advantage of you. Let go and learn from this. You are now that much closer to achieving the kind of prosperity that really fulfills you. Nothing is ever lost or wasted when you view it from this perspective. Okay, so very interesting here. So this, I feel like, kind of makes sense, especially with those of you who are very hesitant about moving forward, because if you've been hurt in the past, or if you've held something from a previous experience that has caused you to have, such hesitation, then this would make sense as to why there's this fear that's kind of overtaken, with this, with this new change. So if that is the case, then this is asking you to kind of make amends, with your past, or, with this past situation, so that way you can move forward. And that might be why, in particular for some of you, that conditions aren't favorable right now. And it's because you haven't quite made those amends with your past, or you haven't quite dealt with your past situations in order to move on to the future. Okay. So your other oracle card that we're going to look at is imagine. So this says turning imagination into manifestation, creative thought, visualization, the power of aligning imagery and feelings, creativity, and illusions. So we're going to look at your prosperity message here. So this is a powerful time to get clear on how you create your prosperity, what it means to you to be prosperous, and what attributes you need to develop in yourself to make things happen. Who do you need to be to live out your dreams? Can you imagine the kind of life and desire? Really imagine it without holding back the sheer force of your powers of creativity. If you can envision it, you can have it. Get ready, for prosperity is waiting for you to claim it now. Act as if your dreams really will come true. I like that. So if you have this outcome, if you create this positive outcome for yourself, then you will achieve it. Okay. So live in that way. Imagine as if though, this new change brings about a positive outcome, just like I'm seeing it here. If you see it that way, that's how it's going to come out. Okay. So I really love that that's the message that you had there. Now, your last few oracle cards that we have are your angel answer oracle. So these will hopefully give you a little bit more clear answers to your synchronicities that you've been seeing. So the first one that we have is success. So again, confirmation that this is a successful outcome, okay? You are seeing this because you have success headed your way, okay? So trust in that. Next one we have is in the near future. So this is definitely happening within the near future. And then we have reconsider. All right, so this is interesting that we have reconsider, because I feel like this kind of goes hand in hand with your other card that we have talking about conditions aren't favorable. Okay, so again, this is kind of looking at, I feel like, the bigger picture and kind of like reconsidering, you know, any hesitation that you may be having, or reconsidering any, you know, anything from the past that you haven't quite yet healed. So finding a way to mend those situations first, I think, need to be recognized and handled with efficiently first, in order for you to move on, or in order to kind of get to this end game, you know, or going through this transition. And as I understand, you know, as we kind of talked about at the beginning, you know, transitions and transformations can be a little scary, you know, especially because it is dealing with change. It's going into the unknown. But you don't want that to prevent you from reaching your full potential. And I think that's what the main message is here for you guys. So group 4, that was your reading. Definitely let me know in the comment section down below if this resonated with you. I do apologize for the lighting. It looks like the light came in from outside, so it kind of turned everything a little yellow. So I'm so sorry about that. But definitely let me know in the comment section down below how this resonated for you, if it did. Also let me know, what are the synchronicities that you guys have been seeing? I would love to kind of create a dialogue in the comment section to see what everyone else has been experiencing, and just kind of, you know, share stories on that. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and consider giving it a thumbs up, as it truly helps out the channel. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.